This is for GDAD 1931. Start. Suns. How suns originated and how the cosmos is structured will become one of the most contentious issues of our time. Present cosmology is based on assumptions and theory. James Cornell, in his book Bubbles, Voids and Bumps in Time, The New Cosmology, states, almost all astronomical information is indirect and second-hand, based on the analysis of radiation, journeying through a little-known medium that can distort, disrupt, and change the messages from the stars. Much of what astronomers claim to know about the history of the universe is speculative. There are now two options to choose from: what the theorists say and what modern revelations reveal. So how did the Big Bang Theory originate? In 1915, Einstein was of the opinion that the universe was either expanding or contracting. He wasn't sure which. In the early 1920s, Hubble and Henry Mason, with a more powerful telescope, discovered distant galaxies. Work done by Hubble and Hugh Mason on spectral analysis of these distant galaxies indicated that they were apparently moving away from the observers. Einstein then assumed that the universe was expanding. In the 1930s, Lemaitre, a priest and scientist, reasoned that if the universe was expanding outwards, then the process could be reversed and rolled back to a single point of unusual smallness. It was then assumed that this singularity exploded and led to the universe we now know. It is now assumed that all time, space, energy and matter originated with the Big Bang. The Creator's explanation through 19th century revelations of how suns arose and how the cosmos is structured is diametrically opposed to the present theoretical reasoning. Some decillions of Earth years in the past, the central suns of shell globes appeared. Their appearance is of a highly spiritual nature and is of the conversion of soul substance to condensed light. The explanation provided of why this occurred is not relevant to this video. The term shell globe refers to a unit of immense size with a gigantic principal and primal central sun of the first order. This central sun of our shell globe is called Urca and is the star known as Regulus in the constellation of Leo. The Lord now states, you may visualize the order of the solar systems like this. The many millions of planetary suns around which planets like your Earth are revolving form with their mutual central sun a solar region, galaxy, the central sun of which is of a magnitude that often exceeds 100 or 1,000 times the volume of the suns, with all their planets and moons revolving around it, sometimes even a million times, because there are smaller and larger regions. The larger such a solar region, the larger must also be its central sun. Many solar regions together are called a solar universe, supergalaxy. The supergalaxy has a centre, an immensely larger universal central sun. The next higher grade is the solar universal universe, supergalaxy. 7 millions of these revolve around a gigantic principal and primal central sun. The Lord states, but do not ask me for details of the diameter of a shell globe, for human comprehension could not imagine a figure that would appropriately describe the distance. Each complex of universal universes which orbits in wide paths around a primal central sun is surrounded by a firm shell no material being can penetrate. This shell consists of transparent matter and is mirror smooth towards the inside. Due to the fastest thought revolution of the universal universes, the projectile force forms a kind of shell to the outside. The centre of each shell globe is an immense, self-luminous central sun. Its vast expanses are constantly surrounded by blazes of great intensity. The blaze penetrates to the envelopment of the shell globe, from where it is reflected through all the galaxies. Such a sun can easily serve as a universal light in the vast solar spaces of a shell globe. In this way, every sun is illuminated on one side. As the light is reflected from the opposite walls of the shell globe, it illuminates the other side of the suns, which also illuminate each other endlessly. On this giant sun, the purest gas is burning, and this has always got to be available in the great subsolar gasometers in superabundance. These gases are tossed into space as intensely glowing balls. Somewhere in the depths of space they then form into suns, in the region of a secondary sun. This primary central sun of our shell globe is several decillions of Earth years older than Earth, whose age is already a few quintillions of years. The brilliant light of the sun of our solar system comes from the rays of millions of other suns, each by itself reflected on the expanse of the mirror surface of the sun's atmosphere. Still, every sun has also its own light. It is not by far as intensive as the sunlight we see. This additional light effects mainly a constant cleansing of the sun's atmosphere to enable it to receive and pass on the radiations from the other suns. This cleansing effect occurs through the ejection of gaseous material from numerous volcanoes on the sun, particularly in the equatorial regions. The sun replaces the lost masses through constant intake of cosmic nourishment from the ether around it. The 19th century revelations state that to probe the true nature of sunlight is beyond the realm of material possibility.